All right. Hey,
Oh,
folks. Welcome to the segment broadcast slash podcast slash YouTube Live. I got a special guest with me today, you guys, and his name is Anthony Sanchez. He is also known as Keto Sanchito on Instagram and on YouTube. Are you on YouTube as well as Keto Sanchito?
it is. It is. There's no underscore. It's keto space Sanchito. Not a lot of videos, but I don't even know what the where the road is I'm trying to take on my channel, but I got a couple videos on there, but some mountain biking videos. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead.
Yeah, what caught my eye is so Anthony's is pretty new to mountain biking. He started in May of this year. But it's we all ride the same trails, right? So we're all going down the same trails, but we all have different stories. And I what caught my eye with Anthony is that he had this amazing GoPro Hero 8 footage. I believe you were on a trail ride around sunset, and it was
Yeah,
just amazing.
yep. It was Marshall Canyon in Laverne. I want to say it was around 4 or 5 p.m.
And the footage you got, it looks like something you'd see when you go to a store and you look on one of those televisions that are for sale, and it looks like one of those. So he just captured this amazing image. And so I went further down into who's Keto Sanchito, and it goes back to a post that you had put up. In fact, let me see if I can pull that up for everyone so they can see it. And for the folks that are just listening, I'll explain it. But there is a post that you have where you are, I don't know, how many pounds do you think you were, Anthony, then?
I want to say like 289, 290,
289,
pushing
290,
pushing 300, pretty close to that.
pushing 300, and he's 5'7". Here it is right here. You guys, can you see that okay, Anthony?
Yeah, yeah.
So there he is.
Jeez.
And there's the before, and there is the current. Plus, he's on his way to more. So
Yeah.
I thought to myself, man, I got to get this guy on the show because there's a story here that I think that can help us all, and specifically for folks that are having a hard time with the pandemic right now. We all know there's the crazy pandemic, and gyms are closed, and then they're open, and then they're closed again.
Yep.
Well, Anthony has found a way to really get after it, even though he has a million and one excuses to not get after it. So let's just jump right in to the story with Anthony. So Anthony, let the folks know a little bit about yourself who haven't heard of you or haven't seen you on Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. I'm 25 years old. I'll be 26 years old in November. I've been an EMT since I was 19. I'm pushing what 7 years. And and it's been a wild ride. Once I want to say once you graduate high school, some people know what they want to do, some people don't. I had the opportunity when I was younger, when I was like 16, 17, I had the opportunity to be what's called a fire explorer. Um, and that really opened my eyes like, hey, this is something that I think I want to do. And back then, I played football in high school. I was never the athlete, I was never, first string, all American, none of that stuff. Like I just, but I tried to give it my all, back then though. It was really easy for, I was a kid. I wasn't really that motivated to play, but I did everything I could. And I did it for 4 years. My senior year, we had the opportunity to go to CIF. Unfortunately, we lost in semifinals.
Wow.
But we had a solid team. We had a small team though, but we had a solid team. I'm only 5'7". I think the biggest kid on our team was like 6'5", 6'6". Like,
Wow.
but that was like maybe two or three kids that we had on our team. Like,
Wow.
so
You
we
got
have we have we have kids that are like 5'4" is the shortest. And he was our free safety. That was my cousin. And he was a little beast.
dang.
He's 5'4", like 145, 150, and I'm this 5'7" lineman. You wouldn't think that this little guy would be a lineman, but here I was trying to compete with kids that are bigger than me. But I did it for 4 years, graduated high school, tried college. School wasn't really my thing. I don't get me wrong, I was pretty good at it. I was in a couple AP classes during high school and stuff like that. I enjoyed it, but I just couldn't stay focused as much as I'd like to. I always figured, hey, I'm gonna get some kind of job where I get a certification or some kind of trade. So I was looking at becoming a mechanic, looking at becoming a welder. I ended up taking the EMT course because I was, being a fire explorer. They were like, go get your EMT, go get your fire academy, do this, do that. And this is how you become a firefighter. And I was like, I'm in. This is what I want to do.
Wow.
And back then I weighed what I weigh now, but I wasn't as active. So that's 6-7 years of just putting on weight. As soon as you get as soon as I get my EMT license, we're stuck on an ambulance for X amount of hours. We're either, if we're at station, we're trying to sleep as much as we can, because when you get a call, you get a call.
Yeah.
But when you're, go ahead.
Oh, just, I was thinking, when you get a call, it's lights on, gas pedal down. I mean, it's life or death time, right? For whoever you're trying to save.
So we're trying to run those calls, and we eat when we can, and you kind of eat whatever you can. So fast food was a big thing for a majority of my career. Like the last 6-7 years of eating nothing but McDonald's, Jack in the Box, like it adds up. You can only feel 18 for so long.
Yeah.
And it took its toll. I gained X amount of weight. It's pushing 300. You never really notice it. Nobody really tells you anything. It kind of just takes you. So you got a light has to pop on in your head to kind of give you that motivation for you to lose weight.
Wow.
And it wasn't until last year that that I was applying for a job, and they're like, hey, we need you to get this physical done. So I was like, man, I don't like going to the doctors. I don't want to hear what they want. I don't want to hear what they're going to tell me.
Yeah.
So I went in, did my physical. Doctor's like, hey man, you're pre-diabetic. Your blood pressure is through the roof, like 170 over 100. Like, what is going on? You're 25.
Wow.
Like,
And for the folks out there who don't know, the normal blood pressure, it should be around 130 over 80 or somewhere around there. 120 over 80 would be ideal.
Textbook is 120 over 80. I would say in the US and California, like 130, 140 is about normal for just California in general, just because of the demographics around here.
Dang. And you went in and you measured out a 170 over 100.
And that takes a toll. Like you don't think that that's something that would bother me, but it did. I'm 25, man. I want to live to see 80, 90. I don't want to
absolutely
be gone at the age of 30.
Right.
So that was kind of like the wake up call. He was like, we're gonna schedule another appointment in the next 2 weeks, so come on in. And after that was when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this diet that my buddy has been talking to me about. His name's Brian. He was like, hey, try keto with me, dude. And I was like, what is that? And he was like, it's high fat, low carb, high protein, high fat. And I was like, all right, we'll give it a try. So I basically cut out bread, cut out soda, sugar, all from my diet, cut out drinking. That was I did have my fair share of fun throughout the years as soon as I turned 21. And I think a lot of people go through that phase when they turn that age. But after that doctor's appointment, I was like, dude, this is enough is enough. So I started to cut all those foods out of my diet, started eating a little bit cleaner. And he had told me, hey man, you could lose weight by eating Chipotle and chicken wings and In-N-Out. I was like, no way, dude.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Sign me up.
I was like, sign me up, man. So like the first 3 months, I want to say, when I was trying to go to the gym as much as I could. And what really got me into biking was I would ride the stationary bike at the gym.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this for X amount of minutes, and then I'm going to go lift.
Well, wait a minute.
So I would.
When you went to the gym, had you already been going to the gym, or was that one appointment with the doctor kind of that pivotal moment where the switch went on and you were like, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to change this thing, or
I had a pass to Planet Fitness for like the last 7 years, but I had
Okay.
never gone.
Oh,
It's
okay.
one of those
Wow.
things where you're like, all right, I'm going to sign up for a gym, go that first day, get into it, and then next thing you know, you're never going again.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, with your schedule, right, at driving those ambulances, it sounds like you were working a lot through the nights. So,
yeah, and
gyms are closed, restaurants are closed, fast food's open. It's
yep,
that's
it adds
that's
up.
tough. Yeah.
Like trying to go to the gym was definitely a little bit rougher, but you have to make that time for it. So after that doctor's appointment, those first 2 weeks were pretty critical to me because I was like, man, I want to come back and I want to show them like, hey, I'm doing something about this. I didn't want to go back and be like, oh, I'm in the same place I was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Um, so anytime that I could go to the gym, I was at the gym. I would ride the bike for about 45 minutes. Just kind of put it at like the hill setting. It would just kind of randomly make a hill. Like it was interesting. But the biggest thing to me was, I'm gonna stay consistent, and that's
Mhm.
I think one of the hardest things that people deal with is trying to stay consistent with what they're trying to do. Um,
Yeah. That's the key.
so for me, it was all right. You're gonna do cardio for 45 minutes, whether it's running, biking, and it was biking for me because I was like, how can I do cardio while sitting? Because
Mm. Yeah.
at 290 pounds, you're not trying to run.
Yeah.
Your legs are gonna feel it. Your knees are gonna hurt. You're gonna start getting shin splints. It's it's not fun.
Yeah.
So biking was it for me, and that was kind of like, all right, this is really cool. Then started lifting, started getting into like protein powders and stuff like that, which that's a whole another like rabbit hole that you can go down.
Yeah.
But trying to
So,
find the right supplement for you is really really hard, and it's not an exact science. It's kind of like trial and error.
yeah.
Um,
So take us into that real quick, and then before we go there, Zadated says you used to kill 3 bangs a shift, bro. That's rough, but I'm happy
yeah,
for you. So what
during
does that mean? 3 bangs a shift.
so the I don't know if the Bang energy drinks.
Oh yeah, yeah, the hype like a monster
Yeah,
drink.
you go to a gas station, you get those things for like three for $5. Like of course I'm gonna buy three.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Or one's
that
like two
expect
fifty, right?
yeah, one's like two. Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy three, and the next thing you know, you're just sitting there drinking them, and then it gets later and later. You're running calls, and then there you go. You've knocked out 3 bangs, which have like 300 milligrams of caffeine in them, and
Dang.
that in general is not good for your blood pressure at all. So
Yeah,
the amount of damage that you're doing to your body by knocking it, especially three of them, man. Like
yeah.
when you got to know when is enough.
Right.
Um, so
Can you think back to a call that you did? You know when the doctor said, "Here's your blood pressure. This is kind of your forecast if you continue on this route." Could you think of a call where you may have come up on somebody who had a heart attack or was living that previous life? Maybe that was something that also helped push you into this direction.
you know what? When it comes to like calls, we're not really at liberty to talk too much about it.
HIPAA.
Just
Yeah.
yeah, the whole HIPAA thing. We're not allowed
Yeah.
to talk too much about it. I mean, there were a number of calls where we would go show up and this person is complaining, hey, I have chest pain. I'm having trouble breathing. Um, and those were things where if you ran on somebody, especially somebody that was younger, that should alone should have been something that would have triggered a light in my head, like, hey man, like get it together. Um,
Yeah.
but those kind of calls, they after a while, I would say, if depending on how long or depending on how much you work in the EMS field, some people build up a callus towards it, or they kind of just next thing you know, it's you just on auto mode, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. You'd
With
have to
that,
build up some kind of a tolerance or numbness to the situation to be able to operate, efficiently.
yeah, and that in general is just that was kind of a wake up call for me as well. That wasn't something that when I first got into it, that wasn't something I was looking forward to or wanted to be. Like, I wanted to be the guy. Hey, you call 911, I show up. What can I do for you? And you don't think that you're gonna head in that direction, and next thing you know, you wake up and kind of, and you know, we use the word salty a lot. You know,
Mm.
that was our thing. Like you're a salty dude, and you know, I didn't want to be like that anymore. So I kind of took a break from the ambulance life. So I started doing a little bit more contract work. Um, and you know, it's been pretty good so far. You know, I'd like to get back to working on an ambulance, but I want to focus more on, you know, getting healthier and working on myself before I can go out and help other people. You know.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love what you just said. So, so you're in the gym, you're starting to ride the bike, you're really liking the way that you're committed to it. You're seeing some changes, and you're also starting to change your diet. So Brian gets you on this keto diet, which sounds awesome. High fat, and like, are there certain times? So take us to like what is keto in general, and then specifically I've heard of things like the keto flu. I've heard of, you know, all I'm eating is meat and this is keto. Or I'm out of keto. Could you take us a little bit through a small a keto session?
I'm gonna give you like a rundown of what keto was to me, because there's a lot of different people out there who are gonna say, hey, this is what it is, this is what it's not, this is what it is. And, you know, you can definitely um lose weight by eating like salami and cheese every day for, you know,
Wow.
but that's, do you really want to be sticking that kind of stuff in your body? Like, that's not very healthy at all. And at first, don't get me wrong, that was something that and there's Brian right there.
Hey, Brian,
That
what's
was
up, Brian?
that was something that I was doing for, you know, the beginning of it. It was a lot of In and Out, a lot of Wingstop, a lot of Jack in the Box, which surprisingly you can get Jack in the Box. You can get keto at Jack in the Box. You know, just stick to breakfast menu, get some sausage, get some eggs. Unfortunately, I'm allergic to avocados, so that was like that's a big thing in the keto
Mm,
diet, was getting that healthier fat in.
healthy
Um,
fats, yeah.
you know, and before the diet, I'd always figured I was like lactose intolerant. You know, I couldn't really drink milk, couldn't eat cheese without getting my, you know, my stomach would get upset. But when you start to like incorporate all those things into your diet, it kind of changes up. Like I have cheese with like mozzarella cheese or pepper jack cheese. Like those are my favorites, man.
Yeah.
And those are like little snacks. You know, those are things that I would incorporate into my either my lunch or my dinner, like kind of things in between if I'm feeling like hungry. One of the things that um, has really helped me out a lot was like Quest products.
Okay. Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. So those are you know, they advertise, you know, this is how many net carbs are on in this thing. So like you can eat a cookie or a protein bar and there's 4 or 5 net carbs. Those are things that would definitely help me out during when I was feeling hungry. Those are good little snacks. But I kid you not, the first month of keto, it really was In and Out and Wingstop and Chipotle for lunch and dinner. Like I wasn't really too big on breakfast at the time, but even though breakfast was like one of my favorite meals, that's interesting that now I all I eat is like sausage and eggs. And um but it was that for like the first month, and then I was like, man, this probably shouldn't isn't good either. Like I'm losing weight, but is this really healthy still? So I started getting into, you know, trying to cook. I have no idea how to cook. You know, but I would give it my best shot. And, you know, it was ground beef and spinach for a while. Like that was
Wow.
my lunch and dinner. I would have like half a pound of ground beef, try to get it as pure as pure as you can without the fat. So I would get like 95% lean, and that was my lunch and dinner. I'd throw some kind of cheese on the spinach and just eat it like that. So I'd have 2 big bowls of spinach, half a pound of ground beef for lunch and dinner, and that was it. And just drink as much water as you could possibly drink in between.
Wow.
So I'd go through about a gallon a day, or at
Dang.
least try to. It was rough. You know, you can only drink
Wow.
water so much until you want something else.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you gotta fight the urge for those bangs, you know, that you used to have before.
yeah.
So when you were a month into this keto, I mean, were you seeing a lot of progress right away? And how do you know that you're in ketosis or out of ketosis? Or
And so that was the thing too. Like some people were like, "Oh, I test my blood, I test my urine," and that was something I was like, "Man, I don't really feel like doing something like that. I want to be, I'm invested, but I'm not that invested." So what I would do is I would just go based off of like people started to notice, like, hey man, you're losing a lot of weight. What's going on?
Nice.
Are you doing legal things or illegal things? I was like, no, like, hey man, like, this is all just diet and exercise. I'm trying to, I'm working my butt off to try to lose as much weight as I can,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Um, and they were like, oh man, well, it's working, and that was kind of like my justification for it. Like, that was when I was like, all right, so this is working. And even now, like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, dude, I still see the same 300-pound dude that I saw, a year ago, but like, I'll hang out with people or I'll go see family and they're like, man, you've lost a ton of weight. And I'm like, really? I can't really like tell, like, I still feel the same dude. I do feel a lot better. I can tell you that, a year ago, I'd walk up the stairs and I'd be like, oh man, I'd be like out of breath,
Yeah.
and that was something I was like, man, you're 25, you shouldn't be out of breath going up a flight of stairs. Like,
Mm.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, like, today I went on a 3-mile run. Like, who does that? Like, I got
Damn.
off a 17-hour shift and I went on a 3-mile run afterwards. Like,
Love
I
it.
could have easily just came home and just, went to sleep, but I was like, I got to get active. I'm actually going to Sky Park tomorrow. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to ride my bike today. Not trying to get hurt or nothing today. Let's
Yep.
take it easy. Go for a
Yep.
light jog. If I get hurt, I'll do it tomorrow, while I'm having
Yeah.
fun, at least.
Do
Hopefully,
it at Sky Park.
knock on wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been a wild ride. I got to give a lot of thanks to, the people the positive roles that I have in my life. They
Yeah.
kind of motivated me and kind of told me like, hey man, it's working, so keep it up. My buddy Brian was like one of the main
Awesome.
ones. My buddy Marco was one of the main ones.
It's awesome.
My brother was in the gym as much as he could be with me. He was actually like 350 pounds
Wow.
before he got diagnosed with diabetes. That's something that does run in my family. My mom is type 1. My dad was type 2. My brother got diagnosed with type 2, and he got sick for a while, and that was what motivated him to lose a bunch of weight. So
Wow.
he actually had lost 100 pounds. So we weighed at one point, we did weigh the same amount of weight, and it was kind of like a little competition that we would have with each other, like, hey, who can lose the most? And right now I'm winning.
That's
But
awesome.
he's actually at the gym right now. I don't know if, like, some gyms are closed, some gyms are open, but they're outside.
Yeah.
I still don't want to take any chances. I try to do what I can. I kind of go through these little. I'm noticing that I'm going through these like little waves. Like, at first, I was obsessed with the gym. I tried to go as much as I could, try to get as long as I spend 2 hours in the gym if I could. Um, and then I went on through this phase where I was running a lot. Like, so, what I do for work, I get to travel. I had the opportunity to go to Utah, Arizona, Santa Barbara, and basically live in. They would put me up in a hotel, and I'd try to figure out what I can do as far as like working out goes. If I can get into a gym, I'd get into a gym, but if I couldn't, I'd go for a run. And let me tell you, going for a run in Utah during like the end of winter, it was still snowing out there.
Woo.
That was pretty fun, but it quickly changed up. I got the chance to go to Arizona quickly after I came back from Utah, and that was a wake up call. It was like 110 degrees out. You're trying to
Dang.
go for a run. You're like, what is this?
Yeah, this is hot. So, man, okay, so a lot of awesome things to unpack there. You're hitting the gym, you're in keto, you're losing a lot of weight. You don't notice it. Your friends and family who see you, probably often or even periodically can really see the changes. So you're gaining some confidence there. You touched on something that I think is definitely one of the keys for anything when we make changes, and that is the consistency part. But, a lot of people quit. A lot of people get into this and quit. How much of this do you think is a mindset?
I want to say it's 70% mindset, 30% just having a good support system.
Mm.
I've been lucky to have, I have really good friends, really good family that, support me and with what I'm doing, whether it's, motivating by, talking crap to me, or whether, that was one thing that me and Brian had back and forth, is that was how we motivated each other. It's like, hey man, you can lose a little bit more. Hey, you can lose more too. And that was something that we would go back and forth. And that was, that was our way of, motivating each other. But then you also have people that are like, man, you're doing such a great job, keep it up. And, that alone was something that I was like, all right, I'm going to keep going and see how much I can lose and see how much better I can feel, or see what other stuff can I accomplish with this,
Yeah.
And if you had asked me a year ago, hey, do you want to go on a mountain biking trip? I would have been like, no, I'm not gonna ride a bike up a mountain for what, And so finally, one of my buddies was like, hey, I bought a mountain bike and I'm starting to do this, and and he was like, if you want to get into it, get a bike, and we'll go riding. So my first mountain bike was a GT Aggressor Pro from Dick's Sporting Goods. I bought it for $500.
Dang.
And I was
During
like,
the pandemic,
yeah, I got lucky when I came back from Arizona. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a bike. So I had gotten tough love, man,
tough love. Iron sharpens iron there, Brian. Tough love.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
So I had gotten a Dick's Sporting Goods mountain bike, and they were like, yeah, this is one of the best ones, and I see my buddies climbing up the mountain. And I'm like, dude, I'm struggling here. It had a 3x8 system on it. And I was like, dude, I don't understand any of this stuff. And that's when you go down that rabbit hole of looking at, you're watching GMBN, you're watching The Outsider, MTV Allen segment, the Trail Dogs, you're watching videos, and you're just like, all right, I want to get this bike. And so I saved up a little bit more, took my time doing a little bit of research, calling bike shops right now. I don't know if, man, it's been rough to try to get a full suspension bike. And I always thought like, hey, I'm not going to get one. But I rode my buddies. I had the opportunity to go to Sky Park recently, and that was when I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a full suspension. So, calling around, doing your research, watching reviews, and all this kind of stuff, I ended up deciding on getting a Rocky Mountain Slayer.
Oh, sweet.
So it's a 29er. It's classified on their website as a big mountain.
Okay.
And if you watch the videos on YouTube about that thing, man, that thing, it lives up to its name.
Nice.
Obviously, the trails out here are a little bit, it's a little bit over bike, but it's definitely something that I needed, because I did have a really bad accident on the bike it was like my third ride maybe.
Oh, on the Rocky Mountain or on the GT?
On the GT.
Okay.
GT. So it was like my third ride, I want to say, and I went over the bars. I bruised my shoulder, my elbow, and my chest, and got some pretty bad road rash on my arm. I don't know if you're able to see it.
Oh, right yeah. Look at that. He's showing, for those who are just listening to this, his whole elbow down to his forearm still got discoloration from it. How long ago was that?
That was, I want to say like 2-3 months ago, or 2.5 months.
That was a good one. It's still there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, there's a video up on my Instagram. You'll see that, I sound like a dying whale, man. Like I got the wind knocked out of me.
Wow.
And, my first trail ride ever was actually at Whiting Ranch. I don't know if you've gotten the chance to go out there. It's in Orange County. And there's a story that follows it. The Outsider has a great video on it.
Love that guy.
But, my buddy called it trial by fire, and I was like, man, what am I getting into? And next thing you know, we're climbing up the side of a mountain, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of doing this. It was, I granted, there was a lot of hike a bike. I can give you that.
Okay.
That's my first ride ever,
Yeah. Had you had a bike before this, or was this like, I'm going to just get a bike and I'm going to go for it because the gyms are closed? I'm getting outside.
I want to say the last time I was on a bike prior to this year, it was like, man, when I was like 10 or 11, like,
okay,
and that was just a random bike that you'd get at Walmart.
Damn,
so for $100, like.
So now you find yourself climbing up this hill, thinking, "What the heck have I done?
Yeah, what am I getting into?" And then you get to the top, and you get to see the view, and you're like, "Oh, this is beautiful."
Yeah.
And then you start going downhill, and that's where you're like, "All right, that was worth it."
The good stuff. You got another here.
Oh, it's Pouch.
Pouch.
Another one of my buddies.
Welcome to the show, you guys. This is awesome.
But yeah, it was definitely one of those things where I was either gonna like it or love it, and I had gotten a GT. I was like, all right, if I don't like it, at least I got a bike I can ride around town with,
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm like, oh man, I want to get rid of this 3x8. I want to go 1x. I want to start doing this upgrade, this thing. So I did a couple upgrades to that bike within the last, the last 3, 4 months of having it before I decided to go full suspension. And I don't ride that often. I would try to ride out as much as I could. There were times where I would go, I was home for a while and I wasn't like working as much because what I do now is like contract work. So I would be home for like a week and I try to ride every day. That was rough. Your body definitely tells you like, hey man, take a day off when
Yeah.
you're trying to ride every day. But it slowly turned into every other day, and then slowly turned into, all right, I got to go to work, and now I'm riding every Friday and Saturday as much as I can, and I'm loving every minute of it because
Awesome.
once you go full suspension, there's no going back, man, because it
Yeah.
feels great.
Yeah, so true, so true. I was we were talking backstage, so to speak, before this went live, and I was riding a trail out here called TNB, and thank God I had full suspension because my buddy's like, "Come on, it's not that bad," and it was everything that I've ever heard about it and more. It's pretty scary, uh, but yeah, full suspension definitely helps out a lot.
Yeah, the trails now are definitely it's closing the end of summer, man. The trails are all dusty, they're loose, there's so much. There's a lot of brake, like what do they call them?
Yeah, those.
Brake
Oh,
lines or brake
oh, when heading into a corner, those brake bumps that you get, like
brake
you're,
bumps. Yeah, brake
yeah.
bumps. There we go. Like there's a lot of those around, and I'm in no way a pro. I'm sure I contributed the majority of those brake bumps.
Oh, me too. Me too.
But it's definitely something that has definitely motivated me to want to get better. Like I watch as much as often as I can when I do get to watch YouTube videos. Like I'm looking at the EWS Enduro World Series that just happened. Like that's some hardcore stuff, man. Like
Yeah.
those are things that I'm really into.
So awesome,
Um,
man. You really went head over heels, so to speak, into it, huh?
yeah, you once you go down that rabbit hole, you go down it, and you're next thing you know, you're buying full kits and pads
Yep.
and full face helmet. I haven't gotten a full face helmet yet. I think I'm hoping that I don't need one, but as you get better, you definitely start to realize that it's better to have it than have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
That's so
Kind
true.
of to say.
That's yeah, and they make them so light because I was thinking the same thing. I was where you were just a few months ago, and a buddy said, "Man, it's so much." I said, "But the full faces they got to be hot and they're pretty expensive, like $300, and
Yeah,
and maybe a little more." And he says it's way better than a dental appointment. So
that's true.
I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, I'll do it. In fact, one of the neighborhood kids who's really good here where I live, he's going to be pro. He's going to be amazing. And he never goes down. And I got a picture where he had cut his lip and was heading in for stitches tonight. So,
ooh,
with no full face on. So, I guess it's not if it's going to happen, it's always going to be when it's going to happen type of thing.
yeah, yeah, and hopefully that never.
Yeah.
I don't wish that on anybody. Hopefully that
No,
never
knock
happens
on
to
wood.
anybody that has an open face helmet.
Yeah.
Um, but it definitely is. It would be nice to have one of those, and just for safety. And I think eventually I will probably get one as my skills progress. But I'm still riding like green, blue trails. Like my home park is Benelli, and if you've seen the Outsiders video on Benelli, it's a lot of climbing for not a lot of downhill. And I have no problem like trying to climb now. Like that's like my biggest thing is I want to be able to climb every steep trail that I can. Because
Nice.
that to me, I look at it as like a workout. I still kind of have that mentality of how can I get the best workout that I can out of this.
That's
And
awesome.
going uphill has definitely been one of the biggest challenges and biggest workouts that I've had. And it's fun,
I
but
love it.
going on that run today made me realize, man, I need to start running a little bit more because I didn't. I my mile times back in the day were like 15, 16-minute miles, and that's not fast at all. And that was kind of something that motivated me a little bit more to kind of get faster and do a little bit better. So I think the lowest I've gotten a mile was 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
Damn.
Um,
Okay.
and I want to go lower. Like I want to run a 6-minute mile at some point in my life, hopefully.
Dang,
And that's
Anthony.
definitely something that I'm working towards.
Dude,
Um,
you can do it. I know You can do it. I mean, look at all these things that you've done. It almost sounds like you set a challenge and there's a flip that switches in your brain that's going to accomplish it. What I'm hearing with the whole football, making it to CIF, and then deciding, college may not be for you, but then going through the fire academy and then heading into the paramedic EMT world, and then deciding, hey, I'm pushing 300 pounds. I'm going to flip the switch on that too and get on down. Where are you at weight wise today?
Right now, I'm currently 210 pounds. I want to lose another 20 to 30 pounds, see how I feel and see where I'm at. When I was working out as much as I could, my goal when I was to be able to do a pull up, and I did get to do that prior to my accident. But after my accident, I kind of took a couple weeks off. It took about 6 weeks of not doing anything, just kind of relaxing, just making sure my shoulder heals up, and I still kind of get a little bit of pain when I lift it up, but it's not like terrible.
Okay.
It's bearable, but I just want to get back to trying to do as much work as I can when I have the time to accomplish whatever goal that I have at the moment. And at the time it was being able to do a pull up. I did hit that goal. I wish I would have got it on video, but it happens. So now it's just trying to maintain my weight during this quarantine, during this pandemic, everything that's going on. I know it's hard for people to get out and get active or find something to do, and I've been trying. It definitely, don't get me wrong, it definitely has taken its toll on me, where times where I'm like, man, I don't want to do anything today.
Yeah.
But then I get home and I'm like, you know what, suddenly I'm full of energy and I need to go do something. And so that's where it'll take me. I usually end up on a Friday, I'll end up at Marshall Canyon. On a Saturday, I'll end up at Benelli trying to climb those hills.
Nice.
But it's definitely been fun. It's definitely been tough. I can tell you that it's not easy. You really have to want to do it for yourself. If not for yourself, for others around you, if you want to be in their lives. And just having that support system is something that I truly believe is great and just helps in general. I have really good friends. I have really good family that have been able to motivate me and help me, stay on track. My brothers and my mom will be eating whatever they're eating. They'll be eating pizza, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna enjoy this chicken and broccoli.
Yeah.
But
it can be tough at times.
yeah, it has its moments. But you just gotta at the end of the day, you gotta look at the end goal, what you're trying to accomplish, and try to hit it.
That's awesome. It reminds me, I have a friend who said, I don't live my life trying to prove people wrong. I live my life trying to prove the right people that they're right about me. Trying to prove them right. So it sounds like, your friends that are encouraging you, you're trying to live to prove them right versus everybody else. Like I'm trying to prove them wrong, which is awesome. So support system, it sounds huge, especially in those times when you're exhausted, you come home from work and obviously there's a pandemic, it's like, geez, do I put on the pandemic 20 like everybody else, pandemic 40 or whatever they're calling it nowadays? Or you just hit that moment where you're just like, you know what, this is going to suck. I'm going to embrace this suck and I'm going to get out there and do it. But do you always feel better afterwards? Like once you cross that bridge and you get a good workout in or get a good ride in?
Yeah. So like today with that run, man, I was like, all right, I'm going to hate this. I'm stretching. I'm getting ready to go. And it's like halfway into it, you're like, because it was an out and back run. So you're as soon as you get out, you're like, I still got to go back in.
Right.
I still got to come back to my car. So that's when I'm like, all right, this is going to suck even more. But you kind of just like, all right, you throw on some music, whatever playlist you listen to, get in the zone and kind of just keep moving. And then next thing you know, you're back at your car, the workout's over, and you get to look back at it and be like, you know what, I just did that.
Yeah.
That's over with. That's one more thing. I can check off the list.
That's awesome.
And, I wasn't going into today like thinking that I was going to break some records or run like a 5-minute mile today. I knew I hadn't ran in a while. I've kind of been focused on riding my bike, they're two different kind of workouts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it has helped out a lot. Like I did feel a little bit better during the run. The first mile, I was like, all right, this is cool. And then, you get to whatever view you got, I get to with Benelli, you get to run in, sit at the beach, look at the sunset, look at the water, and then
Man.
decide when you want to go back. So when I started running back, I was like, all right, this is gonna suck, and then start running back, get back to the car, and you're like, oh, that was beautiful. Like
Yeah.
the views that you get to witness whenever you either go on a trail ride or go on a run. Those are the little moments you kind of got to take in and appreciate.
Oh man,
Uh,
well said. And those are things that you can't see from a car. You got to be out there, whether it be on your bike or on your feet. You got to
yeah,
get out there. Otherwise, they go by and you'll never see them. So it's awesome that you get to do those. As the Outsiders channel guy says, those appreciation stations.
yeah, definitely. And those are the things that you kind of got to definitely take them in and appreciate them. Those things are beautiful. It makes all the work that you put in, worth it. I think, and in my sense, along with whatever goals you're trying to reach and get to, um, and stop and enjoy the little things, embrace the suck.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely. So man, you're definitely the journey that you're on. I mean, you're not there yet. I know you want to get to your goal. And I know you can definitely do it. And this is just one of those things where, you know, someone who hasn't seen you in a year is going to see you and freak out. They're gonna be like, "What the heck, dude? It's good to see you look great." But success is just a good reminder. Success is not an overnight thing. It's a lot of, like we were saying, a lot of little things that build up with consistency over time, and it's a lot of hard work. And as Anthony says, that determination to
mhm.
to keep at it is really what's going to get you there. So I think that can be applied in all aspects of our lives, whether it be health, mountain biking, work, family, many different segments that can encompass.
Oh, definitely. I think that having those things to look forward to, or even setting those little goals, are something that make it all worth it. And along the way, it is different for everybody. Not everyone's gonna have the same experience that I have. Not everybody's gonna have the same motivation, the same determination. But as long as they find it eventually, it's not a race. Everyone has their
Mhm.
own journey, their own path that they
Yeah.
need to go down, and as long as they get to where they want to be, and as long as they're happy where they want to be, that's the ultimate goal. Just to be happy and
Right.
enjoy life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and being healthy will help you get there so you can live long enough to collect those experiences, with family, friends, loved ones, things that you wouldn't be able to do if you're not here anymore. So
Definitely,
that's
definitely.
awesome. Was there something that you used for motivation? I know that you had family, but was there something like an end goal or something in your mindset that you're like, I want to do this for this one thing? And that's gonna be different for everybody, but I'm just curious, was there something for you?
For me, when you're shopping for clothes at that weight, at that height, it's kind of hard to buy clothes that fit and that look okay, or that was, or at least to me, that was something that definitely bothered me a lot. It was hard for me to go shopping and try something on and be like, all right, I like this. This looks good on me. A majority of my shopping was done at Walmart. Finding clothes that could fit. Like I was at one point, I was a 3X, and I was wearing like 3XL polos out wherever I would go. And 48-inch waist jeans, and like that was, who does that? Until finally I got the chance to, and it's kind of funny. Like I don't know if a lot of people shop at Costco or not, but I'd come across this pair of shorts that I was like, you know what, I want these shorts. And the biggest they went was like 38, and I was like, all right, well that'll be my goal.
Hmm.
And so I got them. I tried to put them on. I was like, this isn't gonna work, and that was something that to me, I was like, all right, we'll work towards it. So I have those shorts. I put them on now, and they're a little loose, and that's definitely something that has
It's awesome.
kind of opened my eyes.
Wow.
To go from a 48-inch waist, pushing a 50-inch waist, to a 38 is something that I didn't think that I would be able to do, let alone like see myself like doing it. It was insane
Wow.
to me.
Wow.
But that, you set little goals for yourself and you try to
Yeah.
accomplish them. And those are the things that, they're small wins, but they're big wins.
Oh my God.
Um,
Yeah. 48 to a 38. So were you
yeah,
around 48 when you purchased the 38s, just saying like, I'm going to get to this goal?
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
That was kind of the thing that I was like, you know what, I'm taking these shorts home, and they sat for a good amount of time. Just I would, every day that I could try them on, I would try to try them on, and that was kind of like my measurement. Like, hey, you're gonna hit this. These shorts are gonna fit you.
Damn,
And
Anthony, that's awesome.
now they fit a little loose. I'm putting on a belt.
Heck yeah.
And it's definitely something that I'm like, all right, this is cool. Now I'm wearing like skinny jeans. Like I never saw myself wearing skinny jeans. Like what the
That's awesome.
it's definitely been interesting. I went from a 3X to an XL size T-shirt, and that's been interesting. And it's crazy, man. Like you don't think that you could that you'd ever see yourself doing stuff like this, like, or whatever goals that you have set for yourself, and once you start getting moving, and you accomplish the little ones, and start, next thing you know, the bigger ones are accomplished, and then you're just happier. I've definitely been a lot happier since starting my journey, and it's not over. I can definitely,
Yeah.
I you know it's been fun to me, at least. It's been a lot of hard work. It's been rough sometimes. There have been days where I'm like, man, why am I still doing this? But at the end of the day, it's it's been great for me. Hopefully, whoever else, whatever goals they set or whatever they want to do, hopefully they set them and they have a good support system and motivated to get it done. And if they need help with anything, I'm definitely open. Hit me up. I'll help you guys out as much as I can with whatever I know. Um, that it's different for everybody. I'll definitely say that. I've had some people hit me up. Hey man, how do you like keto? Or what have you been doing to lose all this weight? And I always respond differently. I always respond the same. It's different for everybody.
Hmm.
And and it is true. Not everybody can, get out and do the shopping, do the cooking, or do whatever they need to do. Recently for me, it's been a little bit harder to cook. So I started getting to buying meal prep, and
Yeah.
that has definitely been something that has helped me out a lot with keeping on my diet. And at first I was like, man, I'm gonna pay this much for these little trays of food? What?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, how bad do you want it? I
That's
wasn't
a
trying to
good
cook
point.
anymore. So
That's a good point.
it's definitely been something that has helped me out, especially with the shifts that I work.
Yeah.
So the meal preps has definitely been something that's helped me out a lot. Um,
Are
you
those
know,
pretty pricey for someone who's looking into those? Are they expensive, or are they not too
I
bad when
think
you break it down?
when you break it down, I mean, depending on how much you spend on shopping for the week, and then like the amount of work that people put in to do it for you, I would say a meal is like $10, and let's say you're getting 10 meals, there's $100 right there. But you get a good portion of food. Like I don't do the carbs, I don't do rice, I don't do potatoes, nothing like that. So I'll go in and I'll say, hey, let me get the protein, which will either be chicken or some kind of steak or ground beef or ground turkey, and let me get keto-friendly vegetables for like broccoli, zucchini, cauliflower, spinach. Some bell peppers are good.
Hmm.
Um, so those will be my sides, and they're pretty fulfilling because they measure it out for you as far as like protein goes, and vegetables. So you kind of get your serving, and they lay it all out for you if anybody that's counting calories and stuff like that. So it's really, I think it's been a lot really helpful for me with keeping up with my diet, because there have definitely been times where I was like, man, I'm gonna go buy a whole box of pizza and eat that thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but next thing you know, you open the fridge and you're like, oh, I got some meal preps. All right, I'm gonna use that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely been helpful for me, especially on days where I get off of work a little bit earlier and I have a little bit more time to do things. You go on and whatever, you go on your ride, you come home and you're hungry, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, you gotta replenish what you lost. So
Right.
um, having the meal prep has definitely helped me out. It's definitely made life a little bit easier, as far as not having to cook and stuff like that. But you do get tired of eating the same thing over and over, which, good thing for the place that I go to. I go to Lean Feast
Okay.
in Upland, and they've definitely been really helps me. They have a lot of choices as far as like flavorings and sauces and things like that. So I think I'm able to change it up a good amount to still be into it and to want to continue doing it. So that would be definitely something I'm going to continue doing as far as me working whatever shifts I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that hopefully can help me out a lot more and keep me on track, because it's easy to fall off. It's harder to stay on track. So
Yeah. There's so many choices that are just easy to get to, you know, these fast food
yeah,
choices, and they're always open when everybody else is closed.
McDonald's is open 24 hours, 365 days.
I I know. So having those like Quest bars and snacks like that to help get you through those sections, and then um, God, it's so much like riding a trail, right? You're going through some sections, and you could easily bypass this, or you could take the easy route, or you could push yourself a little more and take the hard line. And
Yep.
you know those little Quest snacks can definitely help you get through that. And then having those meal preps when you get home. So hey, shout out to meal prep. So if you guys are listening, hook up Mr. Keto Sanchito with a little bit of a discount if you can. You can find him on Instagram. But as far as folks that are wanting to get a hold of you, Anthony, tell them how they can get a hold of you if they want to follow your journey more and they want to ask you questions along the way.
Yeah. So I have, I'm on Instagram. My at is on the screen there. It's at keto_Sanchito. And then I'm also on YouTube. I'm not as active on the YouTube channel, which I'm hoping to change. I want to upload a couple more videos, or at least upload, my experiences on the trail, because everyone has a different experience on the trails that they do. We're all at different skill levels and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to use my channel as kind of like a progression thing for me,
Love
to
it.
kind of see how good I get riding when I can. So yeah, it's the same thing as my Instagram handle. It's Keto Sanchito, but without the underscore on YouTube. There's a couple of videos up. They're pretty entertaining. I thought they were pretty funny when I was making them.
Yeah.
I'm in no way a pro video editor or anything like that. Like, but it's it's definitely something fun for me to do and kind of blow off some steam. And then along with doing the rides in general, those have definitely been really good stress relievers, and it's kind of one of those things that you do to stay active, stay healthy, and especially with everything that's going on, hopefully if anybody has any questions on that, go ahead and, feel free to hit me up. I'm not a professional mountain biker or anything like that, but, I have watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, their University of YouTube is available to them as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, check out the segment, check out the Outsider, MTB Allen, the Trail Dogs. Those guys are rowdy.
Guys are awesome. Yeah, it's funny because for folks who are listening in, he has an amazing, YouTube channel. An episode that he did where he did this ride with the sunset in the background. I mean, the way that you set up the camera was amazing. So I hit you up on the IG and I said, "Hey, man, what settings did you use?" And you responded back. You said, "Man, I used the MTB Allen. You should check out that video."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I texted Alan. I said, "Hey man, this guy's using your settings, and it looks incredible."
Yeah, it was, and I think the sunset definitely had a huge part to play in that one as well. Like it was there's my buddy Marco. He was one of the guys that was in the gym with me as often as he could be too.
Nice. Shout out to Marco.
But it was yeah, that was a fun ride. That was, I want to say that was last week, last Friday, or the week before that. But yeah, I try to go to Marshall Canyon as often as I can. I'm always at Benelli, so if you guys want to come out and check out these trails, they're not as rowdy as Greer Ranch or any of the ones you're riding. But in case you want to take it light, those are the ones that are pretty chill.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. I want to get out there with you and ride some of those trails. That one sounds great. The ones that heads out to the ocean. That sounds like an amazing trail. And man, I really appreciate you jumping on. And we've got a few minutes left before the end of the podcast. Did you have any? You had a few questions I think you wanted to ask, or
Yeah. I had some notes that I wanted to run some questions by you, just to kind of, in case anybody watching hasn't heard of your channel or anything like that, just kind of bring them up to speed. What made you want to get into mountain biking / YouTubing?
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, no, that's a good question. So, The mountain biking thing happened for me recently as well. My son, he turned 9, and he had a little bike in the garage, and he wanted to get a mountain bike, one of those ones like the professionals have. So we went to the local bike shop here in town, a little bike shop called Allen's Bike Shop in Murrieta, California, and we were shopping around for a bike for him, and somebody had just brought in a 2020 Stump Jumper Carbon, and they were selling it for a really good price. So my son said, "Hey, Dad, why don't we both get bikes so we could ride together?" And it was kind of one of those, I can't say no to that, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what got me into it. And then riding the trails and seeing everything and wanting to video my son, and see his progression. I thought that was cool. And one day he said, you know, he's really into YouTube. These kids at that age, he's 9 years old, so he's totally into YouTube. And he said, "Dad, you should start a YouTube channel." So that was kind of what birthed the idea of getting into it, was through the little rudder that steers the big ship, you know, so to
Yeah.
speak, the kiddo.
That's awesome, man. How often do you ride your bike?
I try to get out there as much as possible, but I've got the main job, you know, and then I've got 2 kiddos at home and my wifey. So I try to go as often as possible. If I can get in one before work, that's great. But mostly it's on the weekend. So right now I'm riding it about 2 to 3 times a week, and if I could squeeze out more, I'm always looking for avenues to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then, so you said you've been riding since April? Is that what you said?
Yeah, March, April. It was literally right before the pandemic.
Okay. So far, have you found like a favorite tire combo? I don't know.
Yeah, there's some interesting combos out there. There's you mean as far as the brands or the tire sizes, or
The brands.
the brands? See, right now I'm still running the tires that I have when I bought the bike.
No worries. I honestly ride those things all the time, man.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them things to go bald, you know, and pop. But I'm running. I think I got Purgatory on the front, and I got Butcher on the back, I believe.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so the way that it looks, it's the front tire looks like it's got a lot more meat on it as far as how grippy it is. The front tire does, and the back tire knobs aren't as big. So I'm assuming that's for the speed, and I'm assuming the front tire purgatories are for the grip when I'm turning. At least I hope that's what it is. Either that or I've been hitting the back brakes too much.
Oh man, me too. I honestly want to say there's my brother right there.
Hey, Raymond, the competitor. How was your workout? Hope you had a good workout.
The tires have definitely been something that that's something I've been looking into a lot, because when it is super dusty out there and super loose, like you want to have as much traction as you can possibly get, at least that's how I feel, because I guarantee, I tell you right now, like I get so nervous when I'm going down and I can't, and the bike is like sliding out from under me. I'm like, whoa, that is not. Yeah, you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But so for you, what kind of I want to say genre of mountain biking, like XC, downhill, enduro, or free ride? Like what do you preference the most, especially when it comes to like watching videos on it or anything like that?
Man, oh God, if we're talking about watching videos, I love watching the DH stuff. Those guys are crazy.
Dude, they're rowdy, man.
Right? I'm a lot of those guys are in Whistler, and they're just sending stuff. They're going down things that are so steep. And I think there's a group of guys, and I think they're free ride / DH / trail, but they're called Reckless Riders. Have you heard of these guys?
Oh my God. I just stumbled upon their videos.
Yeah.
What is it? The T-Rec MTV, T-Rex MTV.
With Tommy. I think Tommy's the host of that show.
Tommy Kyun. He's got a restaurant in like Orange County or something like that.
Dude.
Those guys send it, man. I've been watching their videos all week just to kind of prepare myself for Sky Park, and I know I'm not even gonna hit jump line as hard as they would, you know.
Yeah. Those guys, I will watch them and all of a sudden whatever I'm holding is like all sweaty, from watching those guys because they're
Those guys
crazy.
are,
And
yeah,
there's another guy I like to watch. Obviously MTB Allen is awesome. Love his stuff. That new video that he had on how to jump that just came
that's
out.
gonna
That
be
one.
that's gonna play a huge role in tomorrow's Sky Park adventure. For me,
Yes.
at least, I'm gonna try to incorporate as much as I can from what Alan posted on his video
Yeah.
into trying to master jumping for myself, because right now I'm not the best jumper, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Definitely one
Yeah.
of those small goals I got.
You and me both, but all that progression, it's progression it's awesome because you're loving the journey, and one of these days you and I will be sending it down the trail and people will be looking at us like, how the hell?
Yeah.
But they didn't know that back today that we were like on the brakes all the
Oh yeah.
time.
At least not until they stumble upon this video and this podcast. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, that's how they started.
Yeah, it's
But
doable.
yeah,
It's
man,
doable.
it's pretty crazy though. Like I watched your recent video, the Mr. Toad Wild Ride, I think.
Yes.
For the OGs, man, that
Yeah.
was, you were hitting those jumps, man. I was like, oh, this guy's sending it, and
Yeah.
it looks so much better when and it. Sometimes I like try to imagine like, all right, how would I hit that line when he's going, and I'm like, all right, I don't know if I would have hit that jump. I don't know if I'm there yet, but man, you guys have definitely been a huge inspiration as far as when it comes to mountain biking and just full on sending it. You guys send it, man. It's awesome to see and
Thanks,
be able
man.
to witness. As far as what has been your favorite trail that you've ridden in your time during your
So
mountain biking?
far, man, that's so hard because there's so many trails out there, and I haven't discovered a whole bunch of them yet. But if I go back to my memory banks and the one that I really like, there's a trail at Vale Lake. I don't even know what the name is, but Vale Lake is a KOA campsite in Temecula, California, and they have a mountain bike park there. There's
Oh,
no
okay.
lifts or anything like that, but they have a line that I just call jump line. I'm sure it has a name, but that is where I started jumping, and it's just one of those where it's like jump after jump after jump all the way down.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, and there's nothing really dangerous there. There's no like big gaps. Like tonight, I was on TMB with my buddy Joe Duarte, MMA, and he's towing me into these jumps with big old gaps. And if you don't make it, then you don't make it. It's pretty ugly,
Oh,
so
next thing you know, you're
I'm
lying there like.
yeah. I'm like, I got keto Sancheeto at 7, buddy. I can't get hurt. so
Oh man.
So yeah, but I would say that's probably my most favorite trail. They groom it well. It's really nice, and I think that you could progress your skill level because the climb back up isn't really rough either. But the trail, somehow the jump line is really long for the climb that you take. I don't know how they do that, but that's probably my favorite so far.
Cool. I'm gonna have to come check that one out, man.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good skill building experience for me, and
yeah.
to be able to witness you do what you do, man. You guys are
Oh,
awesome.
thanks, man. Well, I'd love to
Especially
take you out there. That'd be so fun.
yeah, I definitely appreciate that. My cousin is actually one of he comes with me on most of the trail rides that I do, and man, he's all about it too. He actually told me showed me the Reckless Riders YouTube channel. He sent me a video, and I was like, man, these guys are.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't know if we're there yet. Like, hold on.
Yeah,
Like,
those guys are awesome and like crazy at the same time, but crazy awesome.
yeah. And then I'll send him videos, and we'll just go back and forth. And next thing you know, it's like the beginning of the week on Monday. I'm at work, and he's like, when are we gonna go back? I'm like, oh, I'll be home on Friday at this time. Let's go. And we end up at I took him the first time I took him to Marshall Canyon. He was like, man, I want to come here every Friday. And I was like,
Nice.
dude, I was like, hold on, man. There's a lot more trails out there that we both could experience. It would be awesome. And I want to take him to Ladera Ranch in Orange County. I don't know if you've seen the Outsiders video on that one, but
Yeah, with Waterworks. I think Waterworks
yeah,
is one of those. Yeah.
Waterworks, Spitfire,
Yes.
man, those trails are awesome. Like that would hands down probably be one of my favorite trails that I've hit besides going to a bike park like Sky Park.
Yes.
That would be the most resembling thing that I could say to it is it's like a mini Sky Park, and it's awesome.
Yeah, the signage in there is really good too. So whoever's maintaining that, I mean, it's like a Monopoly theme, right? When they had
Yeah,
the
yeah, like
Waterworks sign and everything.
yeah, and the Spitfire one is like super hard or kind of easy or super easy.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, which one do I take? And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're like, oh shoot.
I know. You take the easier one, but then there's that voice in your head like, man, you should have took the hard one.
Yep, yep. And then
Uh,
going back to one of your previous live posts that you had with Alan, you guys were kind of like spitballing ideas with each other as far as like group rides and stuff like that. I know
yeah.
we're we're still we're in a pandemic and everything, and people are social distancing, but I feel like we can definitely get something like that going as far as getting people out there to experience a trail. I know it seems like you work very closely to the trail dogs; those guys would be cool to ride with and everything like that, and
Oh
just kind of
yeah.
doing something. I know I do follow the path, like Alan's always mentioning them on his videos, and they did start like a virtual ride on Strava. I haven't been able to experience one of those trails yet, but
Yeah.
that's definitely something that I would hope that you would pursue, and I'd sign up
Oh
immediately.
yeah. Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
so
Yeah.
that was one thing that I wanted to bring up and kind of ask about
Yeah,
as
like
far as
do
that.
like a segment club, so to
Yeah,
speak, and then we all go ride, even though it's virtually, we all show up on the board together.
yeah. And then next thing you know, it's like we're all trying to PR our segments,
Yeah.
together in that group, and I think that would be something that would be pretty cool to incorporate into your channel.
Dude,
So that would,
that's an awesome idea. Could I use that?
yeah, yeah.
I like it. I love it. I'm gonna put one of those together on Strava. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, I'd sign up. I'd try to hit it as when I can, and as much as I can. And then last question I got for you is do you have a dream build yet? Like, what would you like to? I know you've gone
Man.
down that rabbit hole that I've
Yes.
gone down where you're like,
Oh
man, this is
man.
the one bike I'd have, and this is the one thing that I'd do to it. And
Dude, I think Anthony, my neighbor, he just brought home a 2019. It's a Scott. I guess it's the Scott Ultimate Carbon. Everything on this is carbon. It's light. I think my trail bike, my Stumpy, is about 29 pounds, and I believe his Scott is pushing closer to like 24 pounds or something. I mean, you can really feel the difference on the bike. And the
wow,
bike itself was about, I think brand new, that bike's about 11,000 or 12,000 bucks. It's got
geez.
automatic suspension. You don't have to click anything. It knows if you're going through a rock garden. It knows if you're sending jumps. It knows if you're just flowing. I don't know how, but it does. And it even has the setup for the Bluetooth shifter on it. So uh,
Oh,
I know.
geez, that.
Yeah, it's crazy, and then of course it's black and gold, so that's kind of my brand colors right now with this
Yeah,
segment.
yeah,
So
oh man, that'll look awesome.
yeah, that would be the dream bike, for right now. But there's so many cool bikes out there, and there's so many like setups, so many different
Yeah.
builds. What would yours be? Do you have one that you thinking about?
Um, Honestly, for right now, I think I kind of have my dream bike right now. I have the Slayer. When I was looking at getting it, that was the one thing I was like, all right, how can this thing grow with me? And that was a lot of the reviews and stuff said that this is something that was very confidence inspiring, and that was something that I think I needed to work on when it came to mountain biking. And this thing has definitely um, been that. It's definitely helped me out with hitting a couple more jumps or lines that I wouldn't normally hit, but it's definitely been something that I'm going to hold on to for a good while, because it's got like it's called the Ride 4 system. So you can set it up into 4 different like geometry settings. So you have like your slackest setting, your neutral setting, and then you have like your steepest setting. Right now I have it in the neutral. I had tried it in the first 2, and those were a little bit too slack for me.
Okay.
As far as riding the trails that I ride here. But going back to like, if I did have a dream build, man, I'd similar to something you've got, man. I'd hope I'd probably get the lightest bike, but with the best geometry that I can get, and like the wireless shifting sounds amazing.
That's
man.
crazy, right?
When I saw that video on the wireless shifting, I was like, man, what are they going to think of next for these things? Are we even going to be riding them anymore? And,
I know. Pretty soon they're going to plant the chip, and we're going to think about it, and it's just going to shift for us.
I know we already got electric mountain bikes. Man, those things cheap. Yeah. You got to earn it, man.
That's right. Yeah. I got a lot of buddies who have them, and they say, man, they turn them off when they're climbing so they can get their workouts in. But, when you're by yourself, are you really?
yeah. Are you really turning that thing off? Unless they forgot to charge it the night before. You ain't going to turn that thing off.
Right. The rest of us are just huffing and sweating. Like, how are you so fresh, man? What's going on over there?
Next thing you know, you hear the little motor.
Exactly. Well, Anthony, man, I appreciate you being on the podcast and the broadcast. You're definitely an inspiration, and I know your story is going to motivate a lot of people to come when they see this episode in the future. So thank you for everything that you're doing, and thank you for sharing your journey.
Thanks for having me.
So for your segment, your goal, you're at 200, and what's your current weight again?
210,
and your goal is?
I want to hit 190, 180.
Okay, so 190, 180. And what's your current shirt size?
XL.
And do you want to get into a large, or do you want to stay in XL?
I want to try to get into it. I actually, now that you bring that up, one of my buddies he has some large t-shirts that he's giving me. Okay. Those are going to be kind of like exactly like the shorts idea. The large is going to be something that I'm going to try to, put on and try to wear. And those are going to be, that's my next like motivation to get to where I want to be. Is to fit into those shirts and fit in them comfortably.
I love it.
So that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. And working forward to.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you, when we get off of this, send me your address. I'm going to send you a segment shirt in size large. Okay. And when you get to your goal and you fit in that shirt, we're going to go for a ride. You can ride your segment shirt. We'll do some filming, and I'm going to hand you this poker chip. This is the segment poker chip. This is the one that you get when you beat your segments. This is the bet on yourself, because all that hard work definitely pays off. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you one of those shirts so you could look at it, as part of your goal, just like you did for the shorts. And I'll send you some stickers as well for that.
Thank you,
love to get out there on the trail with you too. So
definitely.
That'd be awesome. So once again, Anthony, tell everybody where they can follow you on your journey before we sign off tonight.
Yeah. Go ahead, give me a follow on Instagram at keto_Sanchito. And then if you guys want to go ahead and follow my YouTube channel, it's the same thing, just without the underscore. It's a space instead.
Nice.
Hopefully I'll be uploading some more videos to give you guys some good entertainment. That's how I look at my channel, something entertaining while you're sitting there doing whatever you're doing, instead of getting on Twitter, get on YouTube and watch my channel, watch my videos, watch me crash. Pretty fun.
Hopefully not too much crashing, but
yeah.
Thank you for doing what you're doing for everybody in the medical world. And it's awesome to meet you, and so happy that I get a chance to talk to you and share your story with the folks out there. And man, look forward to
having me, man.
Trails with you. You bet, man. All right, guys, that is the show. Hope you guys liked it. Mr. Anthony Sanchez, Keto Sanchito. Check him out. Follow his journey, because he's definitely not done yet. And you'll see Keto Sanchito and I in the near future, riding some trails together in his large size segment shirt.
Yes, sir.
Right on. All right, Anthony, thank you, brother. You have a good
Thank you.
night. Nice to meet you, buddy.
You too.
Okay. And stay on with me real quick. I'm gonna end the live. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Woohoo!